Hello everyone, welcome to a new video on my channel, Everything Everywhere. I think it's clear by now how bad Rings of Power is. And to start, I would like to say one thing. We should cease calling it Rings of Power or calling it The Lord of the Rings, because it is not. It is not a good adaptation to be added to the world of Tolkien. And if we keep saying Rings of Power a lot, later on, many years ahead from now, when we get an actual decent adaptation, the name will be tainted in our minds. So I think we should call it anything else, like Amazon's creation or Amazon's series or anything else alike. We should stop calling it Rings of Power or The Lord of the Rings. It should stop. And here is a picture. I believe this is the picture I saw when I first heard about the adaptation. And when I saw this, I said, we can work with that. You see here, Morpeth Clark. She doesn't look very far-fetched from being a young Galadriel. It could have worked. Like, Amazon didn't flop on casting her. It was a good choice, but they ruined it. They didn't use what they had in their hands well. Not only in the casting choices, but overall, in the work overall. And it can't be hidden anymore. Everyone hates it. Everyone knows the truth by now that this show is a flop. And if Amazon is wise enough, they should cancel it after season 1. I don't know how many episodes are scheduled for the first season, but I hear it's already halfway in. And it's baffling. It's really baffling because they have 4 hours out, and it is probably already half of the season by now, and the progress they have in the story is way less than what is expected to be. And I really can't understand this, because it is very contradictory. How come they said that 3,500 years were too much to adapt in 5 seasons, so they were planning to condense it, and then they do this with the episodes? Like, there is hardly any progress going on. And the second point, the second contradictory point, so they couldn't adapt 3,500 years, so they are going to condense it into 6 months. By the way this is going, by the ways they choose to present the story, this is going to be 6 months, like tops 6 months. They are starting by the tail of the Second Age. Like, Isildur, there isn't there you know, like, how to say it? He is not supposed to be there. He is not supposed to be there at the beginning of the series, because Isildur, it all ends with him. He kills Sauron, and he fails to through the One Ring in the fire in Mount Doom. So how come you start the story with him, even if he is a young Isildur? How come? It doesn't make any sense. And by the makers being angry at the Lord of the Rings movies, and being angry at the fans for liking the movies more, loving them, to be honest, I would like to mention one scene in the second movie, The Two Towers. When Eowyn was desperate, her brother was exiled, her uncle was basically non-existent. He was just an empty shell, and her cousin was dead, and she was alone. She was alone, and she goes and runs out there, and the Rohan flag falls. The wind carries it, and it falls. I've always found this scene very powerful. It was a very powerful scene. I highly appreciated it. Almost everyone appreciated it, and I found it very symbolic. Like, Eowyn was the last one of the royal family present. She represented Rohan, and she was powerless in front of all the evils and all the pressure. She was powerless. She was about to fall. So the flag falls. Eowyn, the flag, it's a symbolism that Rohan was falling into its doom. Later on, years later, I find out that this wasn't planned. The flag being carried by the wind and it falls down like this, it wasn't planned. It was an accident that happened on the day, because the wind was too strong that day, and they decided to keep the shot. And I've always found this fascinating, because this means that the Lord of the Rings movies were blessed by the universe. How can you replicate this, Amazon? Like, you cannot get an official blessing of the universe. You cannot compete. And I'm not asking Amazon for working a miracle like this. We as the fandoms were asking for the bare minimum. A good, decent adaptation. And what is mind-boggling, that we know how they didn't get a good adaptation, because they didn't start working on it right, and they didn't have it in their minds that they were supposed to make a decent work. No, they had an agenda. They had to go through 1, 2, 3, and that's it. This was their priority. What is mind-boggling is that the Amazon series is praised for its visual effects, for its visuals in general, and it is shamed for its visuals in general. Like, one scene, it is praised for the visual effects and how the work was done, for the scenery, for the building, for the kingdoms, but it is also shamed for the same thing. It is fascinating and mind-boggling, and the whole thing right now is a comedy. We watch YouTubers reviewing the episodes, extracting the mistakes, shedding light on the plot holes and how stupid the characters are acting. And this is a real comedy, pure comedy, and it's really funny. Again, guys, I recommend you go watch Night's Watch. They review the episodes every week, and it's currently the best thing on the internet. You should all go watch them. So Amazon have one of two choices. Either they stop this farce. It has gone as far as it should. The fans had it up, had it. They won't take it anymore. And I don't think that the 20 people watching the show right now, because they genuinely like it, will be enough to keep it going. Or they can keep bleeding out money. It's their choice, but I really think someone has to pay the price, and it will be ugly. So they have to stop this as soon as they can. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.